Hello again and welcome back. Today I have another review for you, continuing on the disappointing second wave of Super 7's G.I. Joe Ultimates. This time it is Baroness. Who knows what's in store for me? I haven't been impressed so far, but fingers crossed. So taking a look at the packaging, nothing we haven't seen here before. She comes with the nice brown shipper box and she is Cobra, so obviously she comes in the blue camo tin. Having a quick look at the actual figure. Here we are, Baroness, Intelligence Officer. Oh dear. Yep, they've done it again. Those sculpts are... On the back, nice image of Baroness from the animated show, her bio here, some maps, more images of her. And then underneath, contains small parts, adult collectible, not a toy. Oh dear, let's open it up and get disappointed. Okay, so here is the Baroness out of the packaging with all of her accessories. And just like every other figure in this wave, she certainly does not disappoint when it comes to the accessories, including an alternate head sculpt with grey hair, a smirking alternate sculpt, an alternate sculpt with gas mask and canister, a camera gun, a small pistol, a large pistol, an assault rifle, a dagger, a sling for the assault rifle, a syringe, a weapons holster, left and right trigger finger hands, left and right cradling hands, a left closed grip hand, a left holding hand, and a left hand for the syringe. Okay, so taking a close look at the Baroness in hand. Now, before I get started, I just want to do a comparison. I will put up an image of the sampled product that Super 7 put up in their video versus what we have in hand. So I don't know how much leeway a company can get with the term final product may vary, because this certainly does vary. So obviously I'm referring to the sculpt. While it's not as bad as Lady J and certainly not as bad as the terrible Flint, it still leaves a lot to be desired. Now, the sculpt is nice, but already I'm seeing some issues with the paint application on the neck. Similar to Lady J and Flint, sloppy paintwork, so shit. You can see it's gone all over the yellow collar. At least it's thicker, but it's just really bad. Taking a closer look at the sculpts. So again, they're not painted. They just use the color that the plastic is by default and didn't bother with any paint. They have painted the lips. The lenses are nice in the glasses. For some reason, these circular glasses don't sit quite right, but that's not really a big problem. Just squeeze them out of the way. That's probably the better sculpt of the three, or rather, I think it's the only one that actually has a little bit of paint work. If it doesn't have paint, it's difficult to tell by comparison. For me, this one looks like it has maybe some red in the cheeks. Obviously, the lips are pink. They have greyed the hair. I'm not too familiar with why. I think maybe this is when she was using one of her disguises, she greyed her hair a little bit. So that's a nice touch. The smirking face, I think, is much better than the neutral face. It just looks better. The eyebrows are better. The sculpting is more apparent in the cheeks and the mouth. The lenses are pretty much identical. For some reason, these do look a little bit squarer, whereas these have a rounder edge across the top. But still, the lack of paint, it's just really lazy. I don't know if Super 7 are going to address these issues. I wouldn't be surprised if they just said, hey, we messed up. For some reason, we didn't pay for them to be painted. I don't know what it is. Obviously, they're just trying to save some cash. but it's just such a shame. One thing that I will test before I go any further is whether or not all the head sculpts fit, because my Flint figure, the head sculpts do not fit at all. And it seems to be the same here. Okay, that one fits. Gosh, it is difficult with the hair. It's difficult to get the head off. Regardless. Okay, so putting away my bitching and moaning for just a moment, let's take a look at the actual figure. Everything else it's pretty good. It's decent. It's not fantastic. She is super loose for some reason. I don't know why she is this loose, but she is. And that is a shame, because already it's difficult to get her to stand up because of the high heels. Yeah, it's not the best. But the paint application, or if this is paint application or just the colour of the plastic, it's nicely done. It's a very subtle gloss, so it's not quite as shiny as I thought it would be. I'm not sure if this is a cat suit, but you can actually see that there is some high gloss, particularly here around the shoulders. And then the paintwork for the belt and the shoulders, and then I've already covered the neck. That's very poor, but this isn't too bad. It looks a little bit light in parts. You can see the blue underneath. The gloves are nicely done. They're a matte. These are what I would expect to be high gloss. I'd expect them to be like PVC or leather, but it's quite a subtle matte black, so it's actually not that glossy. The hands are that nice softer material, so it is easy to get the accessories in. And then the legs are, like I said, slightly loose, but it's not too bad. The boots are a high gloss. You can see that they're much glossier than the gloves, so I'm not sure why they chose to make the boots glossy but not the gloves. And then she has a cut at the ankle, and she does actually have a pivot as well, but it's ever so difficult to get her to stand. Okay, first time on camera, but let me assure you that it's not as easy as it looks. And then in terms of the extra accessories, so she comes with this clippable, is it clippable? Yep, she comes with this clippable holster, and it has just a peg, so you can actually close it, and that just sits comfortably on her waist here. So it just pegs in. And you only have the option for one pistol. This pistol is too large. This pistol fits in very nicely. If anything, that pistol's a little bit small. You could get away with having a slightly larger pistol in there. Yeah. Regardless. And then there's also this extra head with the oxygen cylinder and the gas mask. Mine has some serious issues here. It's got like glue or a mold defect here, and it's a bit of a shame. I don't know if maybe this was originally on that side and they stuffed it. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like something was there, and if I try and scratch it off, it's just going to damage it. So I'm just going to have to live with that. There's also quite a unsightly splodge of paint from the mask on the hair. Yeah, so QC issues are a problem with this line, with this wave. With all the good they did in the first wave, they've really dropped the ball here. So this, I believe it just goes over like so. You can just have it like that, and then this just pegs in. Yeah. Not 100% sure if that's how it goes, but that doesn't look too bad. It just has it sort of tucked under her arm or even on the back. There we are. So that is quite a good look. Because the sculpt is, or rather the paint application is so soft, that might be the look that I have on the shelf. It's just a shame of this problem here. But overall, that's not too bad at all. The hair's quite nicely done. It has this blue dry brush throughout, so it gives it a bit of depth. It is a shame that this particular sculpt doesn't cover the horrible paint application on the collar. These ones do cover it, whereas here you can see it. So that is a shame. And in terms of the hands, she comes with quite a lot of hands, and one in particular which I find of interest is this one here. So this is the hand which is designed specifically for the syringe. So you can actually get her to have her fingers actually on the plunger. So that's a really nice touch. A hand specifically designed just for that accessory. Who else but Super 7 would do something like that? So, you know, credit where credit's due. That's a nice touch. I think I'm nitpicking here. I would have liked the syringe to be a little bit better, maybe translucent rather than just white, but you know, it's still a very nice piece. And then she also comes with these holding hands. So taking a closer look at these here, this is just for a weapon accessory. So you can see that the finger is more resting on the trigger rather than actually holding the trigger. And then she also has this holding hand. This is a open gripped hand. And again, you can use this weapon or the assault rifle. No, it doesn't really work with the assault rifle. I'm not entirely sure what that one's for. No. Maybe it's for holding the canister. Yeah. Yeah, so let's give that a go. Yeah, there we are. So that's for the oxygen canister. Yeah, so again, another hand for a specific accessory. So moving on to the articulation, as I said earlier, Baroness is very, very loose, which is a massive shame. In terms of the head articulation, you're not going to get anything because of the sculpting of the hair. No down, no up, but that's to be expected. She doesn't get any side to side. It is worth pointing out, however, that with the alternate head sculpt, she does actually get a little bit of side to side, not much, and she does get some down. The shoulders are on a ball joint, so you get a T-pose to about there. You get full rotation. She also has a bicep swivel, and then the single jointed elbow, and then full motion up, down, and rotation on the peg for the wrist. Ab crunch is almost non-existent. I'm not sure why they include ab crunch in these figures because so far none of them have had any movement at all. She has a tiny amount of back and no forward whatsoever, so a bit strange. And I'm reluctant. Yeah, possibly if I was to stress it, I could maybe bring her forward more, but I'm worried about breaking it, so I'm just going to say she doesn't have any. She does have full rotation at the waist, and similar to the other figures in the wave, this belt is a nice soft plastic, so it doesn't restrict it, it just flexes with it. Her legs go up to about there, so really not much. Out to about there, no back, single jointed knee. She has a boot cut, and she has a full range of motion with a pivot and a rocker at the ankle. And then for scale, here she is next to Classified Baroness, Reactions Baroness, Ultimates Lady J, and Ultimates Duke. Okay, so my final thoughts on Super 7's Ultimate G.I. Joe Baroness. This unfortunately is yet another disappointing entry into the second wave of figures. Along with Lady J and Flint, Baroness also suffers from the same problem, a very, very bad head. Unfortunately, the sculpt is downplayed by the lack of paintwork here, and just like the other two figures, it's just not good enough. I could overlook the loose limbs and the shoddy paint application here and there because those QC issues are just the look of the draw, but these soft sculpts and lack of paint is just lazy, and it's a common issue across the board and something that Super 7 really need to correct. I'm very worried about Wave 3 and what we've got in stock. Well, that about wraps up this review. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed it. It is disappointing. I can't really recommend Baroness. I would say that she's only ever so slightly better than Lady J and Flint, but not much. But she is still available on the Big Bad Toy Store and Super 7's site if you really want her. Well, give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and do consider subscribing. And until next time, take care.